then we'll see. All right. So I hope you'll give me the answer on the chat box. And the riddle is this. It is in a one-story pink house. There was a pink person, a pink cat, a pink fish, a pink computer, a pink chair, a pink table, a pink telephone, a pink shower. Everything was pink. What color were the stairs? You can type the answer. Okay. Let's see what the answer is. Okay. And the answer is that there weren't any stairs because it was a one-story house. Okay. So a one-story house doesn't have a staircase. So there weren't any stairs there. All right. Okay. So now let's get started with today's session. And all right. So this is what you had learned in your last class. And let's do a small revision of it. The yes/no questions. So what are the different places where you use yes/no questions? It is at it is when you are expecting a yes/no answer, and these questions do not take any words like question words like when, what, where, etc. It basically starts with it is or it has or it is there, you know, things like that, where the question is very particular of you are asking about something present or not present, or like or dislike or anything. So it's more like a very specific question where you ask them a very answer oriented a question where you want the answer to be either yes or no. All right. And now it is used to check information or to ask for confirmation. So are you present? So whether you answer a yes or a no. So such questions which deliver or which are asked to get an answer either yes or a no. All right. And with do and does, we use action words or verbs. All right. These with the other, we do not use action words. With do or does, when you want to talk about an action, you use do or does. All right. So now you had been you had been told about how to ask yes, how do you use pose questions to someone, how do you describe a particular thing using questions and all those things. So now let's go through it again, and let's play a small game where yes, now there is a bird in this box, and can you guess it? So as you know, as you've already done it, you know how to guess it, and you know that you have to ask questions, and I will give you an answer in yes or no. All right. You can ask me questions of what bird is there in the box. Yes. No. Okay. Now You don't ask me single word questions. Ask me questions in full sentences. Like you asked Robin, don't ask me just Robin. Go for a full sentence question. You can ask me questions on its color. No, it is not white in color. No. You can ask me about more questions about color. You can ask me about the nature of the food it eats. You can ask me whether is it a migrating bird or not. Whether you know, it has the type of, you have various types of beaks in birds. So you can ask me about the beak that the bird has. You know, and from that you can narrow down to what exactly the bird is. Is it a, yes, it is a wild bird. Yes, it is an eagle. Okay, great job. All right. So now you know pretty well how do you ask questions and all those things. And I hope you are confident with that. Okay. So now it is an, so now that we have found out that what it is, yes, it is an eagle. Good. Okay. Now moving on to the next thing. Now there's a small riddle for you again. What starts with the letter T is filled with T and ends with T. No. It's filled with T. The catch is in the second phrase. It is filled with T. Okay, no problem. So the answer is, it is a teapot. All right. So it starts with a T, ends with the T, and it is filled with T. The T is TEA. All right. Okay. Now let's move to the next thing. Now let's start today's class. We are going to talk about action words. All right. And you had a brief discussion, you know, a brief description of what are action words and how they are used and everything in the last class, when you were talking about the different types of actions you can use or you can do when you were talking about the animals and the birds. All right, can it fly high and can it eat, does it eat meat? Does it climb trees? Does it eat bamboos or whatever? I mean, you used innumerable action words when you were talking about the different animals and birds. Okay. Now, like fly high, eat flesh, swim in water, migrate, and all those action words you had used last time when you were talking about the animals and birds. Now, what are these verbs? These verbs are nothing but action words. These verbs, so verbs is the technical term, but what it actually means is action. All right. Each and every action that you do. For example, right now I'm talking to you, or you are typing, or you are listening to me. Any particular action is called a verb. Whether it is listening, eating, speaking, running, writing, typing, talking, blinking, smiling, anything, whether it is you know, physically visible or invisible, but any action that you do is called a verb. All right, is that clear? So I mean, you can just type in whenever you are not able to understand, and if I ask you whether it is clear or not, just give me an okay if it is clear, or if it is not clear, then just type it on the chat box to me so that I'll be able to understand. And then the examples eat, sleep, talk, run, etc. are verbs. All right. Now, so these are action words. Can you type in some more action words on the chat box? Different types of action words. Things that you have already done since the time you got up till now. Talk about the different things that you did from the time you woke up, and then what did you do, and next what, and next what, and just give me the name of the action. I don't want full sentence answer. Bath, okay. Bathe, yes, you had a bath. Okay, after that, phone conversation with you. Great, yes, you spoke to me. Okay. You might have done a lot of things between having bath and having a phone conversation with me. A lot of things between that. Talk about them as well. You would have brushed your teeth, you would have combed your hair, you would have put on your clothes, you would have had breakfast, you would have, I mean, you ate breakfast, right? So these are the different things that you did. All right. So things like, yeah, you did things like eat, brush, eat, brush, and then comb, and cook. Okay, put on. So these are the few different things that you would have done since the time you got up till now. All right. Okay. Now let's dive a little more into the topic, and let's talk about the difference between eat and ate. Now, if you see, when I was writing, I have written eat, brush, comb, smoke, cook, put on clothes, bath, and things like that. But then, when we were talking, I told you words like I spoke and put on clothes and cooked, combed, brushed, eaten, ate, or things like that. Now, what is the difference between the word eat and ate? And I have taken eat and ate just as an example. In place of this, you can have other verbs as well. All right. So now, what is the difference between eat and ate? Eat, we talk about. Eat is basically used as eat is a root verb. All right. A root verb is a verb which is used as it is without making any changes in it. All right. And it is used to talk about the present tense. All right. Present tense and everything that you do on a routine and things like that. Whenever you're talking about present tense, you use the root verb. So for example, I eat lunch at 1 p.m. or I wake up at 6 a.m. or I eat my dinner at around 8:30 p.m. So when you are talking about things that you did in present tense, you will use the root verbs. Okay, and now the past tense of eat is ate. Now I want to talk about something that happened in my past, or something that in a recent past, or in a little older time, where I am talking about things that are already done. I finished doing those tasks. For example, I ate my breakfast at 8 a.m. All right, where 8 a.m. is not far off. I mean, it's just 1.5 hours prior to what we had, from what we are at right now. But then just recent past, also you talk about words like, you use the past form of the verbs. Past form of eat is ate. In the same way, past form of brush is, I'll write a few for you here. Brush, brushed. Cook, cooked. Then you have comb, combed. All right, sleep, slept. Bath, bake. So these are a few present tense and past tense verbs, and where past forms are used when you're talking about something that happened in the past, and present tense is used to talk about something that's happening in the present. All right, now let's move to the next thing. Let's understand a little more how to use action words in our day-to-day life. Now, for example, so now see verbs. I have few here: walk, walked, talk, talked, run, ran. Okay, so now a few words where you only add an ed at the back, those are regular verbs. All right, and when you are using verbs where the present tense and the past tense, there is a slight change in the spelling. For example, with run, it is run, and the past of it is ran, that is ran. Such verbs are called irregular verbs. For example, that is run and ran. All right, and sleep, slept, drink, drank. All right, all these verbs are irregular verbs. Okay, now run, ran, sleep, slept, drink, drank. All right, these are a few examples of irregular verbs where you just don't add ed at the back, but the actual spelling of the word changes. Such words are called irregular verbs. Okay, irregular verbs. All right, now let's move on to the next thing. Now now tell me, why do we have to use verbs, or when do we use verbs? We use verbs when we want to talk about the actions that we do, or when we want to give instructions to someone. All right, we use verbs in these two cases majorly. When we want to talk about the actions that we are doing, or when we want to give instructions to someone. Now, what are the different places where you give instructions? Talk about a few instances where you give instructions. Yeah, can you give me different places or different instances where you use instructions? When do you give instruction to someone? Think of different places where you were given instructions, a clear idea of how to do things and how to perform a particular action, or how to, make something. Somewhere where you have very clear step-by-step instructions. Think of those. Go back to your school days. Go back to your, or probably something at your home. Think of different things that you did. And when you were given instructions, or when you gave instructions to someone. And now is it clear now? Okay, is it still not clear? Okay, hold on. Is it clear now? Are you able to hear me clearly? Okay, okay. Let me just try to reconnect. Hold on. All right. I'll just. Are the different places where you use verbs? I mean, I told you about the two places where you use verbs. The first one is we use verbs to talk about the actions that we do first. Second, we use verbs when we want to give instructions to someone. Now, think of the different areas or the different times that you have given instructions to someone, detailed instructions to do something or to make something or anything of that sort, or you have taken instructions from someone, or someone else has given you any instructions that do this and do this and do this and things like that. So think of the different instructions that you have either given or received. Okay, you received instructions from your higher. Okay, instructions you have given somewhere. Instructions you have given somewhere, or for that matter, you learned something through instructions. Talk about that. Think of your school days. I mean, you have received a lot of times, you have received instructions and when you were in your schools. Okay. Do you remember your games classes when you were taught a new game, you were given instructions? Yes, games classes you were given instructions. You get instructions when you are planning to learn to make a recipe. Okay, when you get instructions to make recipes. Yes, you get to know about, you learn how to give instructions, or you learn to give instructions when you are asking someone to make a craft thing, or or an handicraft material, or painting, or anything for that matter. You're teaching someone how to draw or anything. You give instructions in various instances in your life where you talk about giving instructions. Now, when you are talking about instructions, what do you use when you give instructions to someone? You use verbs. All right, you use verbs when you give instructions to someone. For example, let's take, do you like tea? Do you like to drink tea? Good. Do you know how to make tea? Good. So now, when you know how to make tea, you know a step-by-step procedure how we make tea. Now, let's go through this. What do you first do? You take a vessel, and in that vessel you measure a cup of milk. And so let's consider that you're making tea. I am making tea for both of us, you and I. All right. Now, so we need 2 cups of tea. Now, for 2 cups of tea, I will need a cup of milk and a cup of water. So you measure a cup of, now you take measure, add it into the cup. So you measure a cup of milk and a cup of water, and you add it in the vessel. Turn on the gas stove. All right, you turn on the gas stove. Then place the vessel on the flame. So after you turn on the gas, you place the vessel on the flame. Then you add a teaspoon of tea leaves and 2 teaspoons of sugar. All right, I mean sugar according to the taste. So you add things to it, and then you wait until it boils. Then you lower the flame. All right, and let it cook for 5 minutes. All right, and then you take 2 cups, again take 2 cups, and strain the tea with the strainer or the sieve. All right, so these are, when I was giving instructions, or when we were speaking about making tea, these are the instructions that I told you. Take a vessel, measure a cup of milk, measure a cup of water, add it to the vessel, turn on the gas stove, place the vessel on the flame, Add a teaspoon of tea leaves and 2 teaspoons of sugar. Wait until it boils. Lower the flame. Let it cook. Um, take a take 2 cups and strain the tea leaves with the sieve, and the tea is ready. So now the words that I have highlighted with red are all action words. Yes, you take. Take is you take something, so that is a verb. You measure, you measure something to add or and things like that, so it is a verb again. Then you add. All right, you turn on, you switch on the gas, you place the vessel, you add sugar. So these are all the actions that you are going to do, or that we are going to do when you are preparing a cup of tea. Yes, am I right? Okay. Now that you have understood a very simple concept of how to make a tea, now I will give you something else. Now you have to tell me how would, now you have with you. Okay, now tell me, in the same way I spoke about a few verbs here where I told you, you take this, you measure this, you add this, you put this, you place that, you turn on, and things like that. Now talk about the different verbs or the different actions that you do in the kitchen. For example, let's consider that you are going to cook lunch for yourself today. So tell me about the different things that you will do when you're cooking your lunch. Tell me about, just consider that you have just got into the kitchen and you have to, collect all the ingredients. So then you have to, you take all the ingredients, you collect all the ingredients. Correct. Then after you collect all the ingredients, for example, you have vegetables and things like that, your flour and your vegetables and everything. So what will you do to that? You cannot directly use the vegetables. So what are you going to do? You're going to wash them. You will wash them. Now you cannot use the vegetables without removing the skin of it. So what is the action of removing the skin called? When you remove the skin of the vegetables, what is that action called? The action of removing the skin of the vegetables. What is that called? What is the action of removing the skin of the vegetables called? Yes, you're right. Yes, it's called peeling. Good job. Now, it's called peeling. Good. Now, what is the action of removing water from the rice? I mean, when your rice is cooked and you remove the water from the rice, what is it called? Draining, or you can also call it straining. Both are correct. Alright. If you are using a perforated sheet to do that, then it is called straining. But if you are using a whole what do you call, a whole plate, and you are using it with the vessel, and then when you remove the water, it is called draining. Both of it is correct. Depends on the utensils that you are using to do it. Alright. Okay. Now Okay, tell me what is the action of, okay, now you have peeled the vegetables. Now what are you going to do next? After you peel it, what are you going to do next? Yes, washing. You've already washed it, you have peeled it. What are you going to do next? Cut. Good job. You are going to cut it. Very good. Now, after you cut it, tell me another name for cutting the vegetables. Cutting is also done in different ways. How do you cut vegetables in different types? You cut them. What else do you do? You chop them. Alright? You chop them. Making really small pieces is called chopping. Okay? Alright. Then what do you, for example, now you are going to make a naan or a roti for that matter. What are you going to do to the flour? I mean, the atta that you have. What will you do? The action of of changing the dry flour into a wet flour. What are you? What is that action called? Of adding water and everything, and then the final product of this flour. What is that action called? It is called knead. Knead. Okay. You knead the flour and make it. So you knead the flour. You add water. You add oil, and you knead it to make a flour where you can make chapatis with. Okay. All right. Now consider you have some. Okay. Now let's see this. The different types of actions that you do in the kitchen. You wash, you cut, you peel, you chop, you slice. Thin, slice. You know what are slices, right? The cross section cuttings of vegetables are called slicing. All right. You slice, you crush, you knead, you grind, you mix. Mixing with a spoon is called mix. Crushing is making fine paste is called crushing. Grinding, you do it with the mixer. All right, and then you saute. Just adding oil and then oil and heating it for around 2 minutes or 3 minutes until it gets that flavor is called sauteing. All right, you roll. Changing the dough into the roti is called rolling. When you use the rolling pin and make a chapati out of it, is called rolling. All right. You steam. You steam is steaming is basically used as it is a technique where you cook the food with the steam. All right, and then you bake, and then you spread, cook, boil, marinate, fry. These are the different actions that we use in the kitchen. Marinating is basically when you are trying to add flavors to a particular vegetable or a piece of meat or anything of that sort, when you're trying to add a flavor to it, you keep it in that flavor for a certain amount of time so that it absorbs those flavors and it enriches the taste of that ingredient. Okay. Now consider that you have few friends coming over to your place, around 5 or 6 of them, and you decide to cook fried rice for them. All right. You have rice, vegetables, spices, and sauces, and you have to make fried rice. Now, give me instructions of how will you make fried rice with the available ingredients. You have to give me instructions how to cook fried rice with the available ingredients. The ingredients that you see on the screen: rice, vegetables, spices, sauces. Use those things and give me an instruction. Give me the recipe to cook fried rice. Yeah, sure, I'm sorry. Yeah. Take a vessel. Okay. You can type in one sentence and send. You don't have to send the entire paragraph. You can type one instruction at a time and send it, so that we can continue the discussion. Pre-cook the rice, very good. Add some oil in the vessel, good. Wait until it is boiled. It is not boiled, it is wait until it is heated. Wait till it heats. Okay. Okay, add onions and everything and anything or anything required. What are the things that you require? I mean, you add onions. Do you add it without? Do you add it without peeling it or chopping it or washing it? I mean, you do not add it directly. So, what did you do to the onions without before you added it to the oil? Chopped the onions. Okay. What did you do to the onions without before chopping them? Wash and peeling skin of onions, very good. After you added onions and then you say anything required. So what are the things that you would require? Tell me about the things that you will require. Salt, very good. Okay. Some chopped vegetables, very good. At last, add rice, which is pretty good, very good. Okay. And then how long do you allow it to cook? How long do you allow the rice and the chopped vegetables and everything to cook together? Okay, so you mix both the things and allow it to cook for 5 to 10 minutes. That's how you say it. Mix the vegetables This is how you say it. And then serve it in a bowl. Okay, and then you serve it in a bowl. So these are now for the next class when we have. You are going to prepare a small instruction on how to play I'm sure you played Ludo when you were a child. Alright. Now you have to consider that I don't know how to play Ludo. So what you are going to do is you have to explain me that this is how we are going to play Ludo. You are going to write a set of instructions. Write a set of instructions explain how to play. Alright, this you have to do, and I will ask you how do you do this tomorrow when we meet. Okay? Have you understood the question? Very good. Okay. Now let's just look at what all we did today. All right, and yes, we had a revision of the yes/no questions. We understood what are the verbs, what are different verbs that we use, and what is the definition of a verb. And we also learned the vocabulary of action words that are used in the kitchen. Okay. So I hope you had a good class, and hope to see you tomorrow.